Hey everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Bastock and Bachelor Bullshit Busters. I'm Simon Batchelor.
I'm Adam Bastock.
And today we are joined by Alice Reeves and Sophie Turton of The Joyful.
Hi.
Thank you very much for joining us. Today we are going to be talking about a question that I think has been infuriating all of us independently for many, many months, if not years, and that is, are ClickFunnels bullshit? So Adam, just to enlighten those who have not yet experienced the joy of ClickFunnels, could you give us a very brief rundown of what is a ClickFunnel?
Yeah, so I get a lot of these on my Instagram being advertised to me by people on very nice boats in the Med, and it's kind of quite infuriating. 'Cause it's like, well, I could be them, but I'm not. So my understanding of a ClickFunnel is that it's essentially using Facebook advertising and then having a series of kind of adverts that trigger at certain points based on where someone is in the funnel. So the ClickFunnel seems to be kind of this quite hyped strategy, which is essentially taking normal marketing tactics and then distilling it down into this one process, and then packaging that and selling it as like a solution to all of your hopes, dreams, and fears. I think where it kind of then the bullshit bit kind of comes in, I think, is maybe the fact that it is only that. It doesn't really go much beyond that. I'm not sure what you guys think on the kind of ClickFunnel thing, or if my understanding is correct there.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think like ClickFunnels in themselves are a marketing tactic, but the thing that infuriates me, and I think where the biggest load of bullshit is all of these sort of coaches, people developing these online resources that they're selling through ClickFunnels, alongside, there's that in that there's a huge amount out there now because it is so talked about. Like you said, you can't open a social media channel without a kind of promo of like, do you want to blah, blah, blah in 10 days, get my 10-day challenge? Do you want to in 30 days, download this 30-day challenge? Yeah. And then you're in a ClickFunnel, which, as a customer, like, fine, I had one being marketed to me for months and months and months, and I finally cracked and I bought it, which is an exercise program, which was, can you do a handstand in 30 days? Like, we will. I was like, yes, I'll have a bit of that. Did my shoulder in after a week, so I haven't finished it yet, but I'll keep you posted. But I think that, that in itself, like, fine, as a tactic, as a product, it works. But the biggest bullshit for me is when there's this sort of almost layer now on top of ClickFunnels, which is this narrative to business owners that is, if you set up this ClickFunnel with a downloadable resource and you have this resource that costs like $90, you can then kind of steer your customers through this journey that will have them then spending this much money and then this much money and then thousands with you. And oh my God, all you need is Facebook ads and this funnel and you'll have a 7-figure business.
And I think on top of that, it's also the fact that that whole tactic is based on manipulating somebody into thinking that there's something wrong with them, so that you can then bit by bit, break them down through the resource that you're selling them, which is all like how to be better in whatever that might be. And each sort of stage is like, oh God, I really need to be better. And by the end of it, you're like, I'm shit. Yeah. I really need to be better. And then it's like, don't worry, I've got this £3,000 course you can do to be the best version of you. Yeah. And it's awful.
Yeah. And it's this whole way that like they all use that same sort of messaging, which is that kind of, we've got a solution for your problem. Or like, if you want to, do you want to blah, 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 then you've got to stop doing this. Here's how I did it. Now you can have the secret too. It's only going to cost you £90 to get my secret. And then they've got you.
And 97, surely.
Yeah. It's 97 or £97.97.
Yeah. If it ends in a 7 or a 4.
I'm wooed. Suddenly I must buy it.
Yeah.
The magic of sevens.
Yeah. And sometimes it's free. And I think I heard something really, really pertinent recently. It's like, if you ever get something for free, then you're the commodity. Like, you're what's being sold. So it's like, is nothing's ever free. And like, not that I don't think there's anything wrong with having downloadable resources if they're designed to really help solve a problem, not if they're designed to make you feel like you're a terrible version of yourself so that you buy something else.
I think also one thing I've noticed is that actually, obviously, because I do quite a bit of reading around marketing, and actually the funnel is a really useful graphical way of showing people, like, you need to talk to a lot of people, so you end up with a few people. And the funnel diagram I use when I'm teaching marketing to show how many people fall away in the process. And part of that is saying, do you know what, your product isn't for everybody, and that's okay. And the funnel is a really nice way that people can just use to visualize, okay, so I start with a lot and I end up with a few. Got it. But I think it's this thing of then I don't like to use the word, but weaponizing that against people by saying, right, this is how, this is the only solution that's going to work. And I know it works because I've done blah, blah, blah. And we've seen this time and time again with multi-level marketing opportunities, which are just, this is essentially all you're buying into, because even if you buy that £3,000 course, even if you buy the £97 course, all you're doing is buying the first of 10. And it goes on and on and on. And I think I've seen it a lot. I mean, I obviously, because I've put the word like small business owner into a lot of my profiles, then I get this marketed to me all the time. And I get it exactly. I think the aspirational element of it is what really like grinds me.
And it's almost always, and actually for those listening now that you're kind of aware of it, look out for it, because it's almost always, if not in my experience always, something in the wellness industry, something in the personal development industry, in the fitness industry. And while this is a tactic that is used in marketing, you know, in lots of different contexts, essentially that's what newsletter, like that's a sort of a much smaller version of it, is a newsletter kind of funnel. But this particular use of it is always in the self-development of some description industry, and it is about making you feel like you're shit. And like, it's like,
really
actually, who are you, Susan? Like, how have you learned the sort of secret to life? Like, why would I pay for it? Like,
I think that's a really important point. Like, as a tactic, you know, the whole kind of downloadable resource thing of like, you go to a site, you fill in your details, you get sent a resource, you're now in a marketing funnel because you're going to get a newsletter or you're going to get sent more resources, and then you're going to be offered a sales opportunity. Like, that's inbound marketing. That's a tactic that has been used as part of a wider marketing strategy from a data capture, lead generation perspective for like the whole time that I've been working in marketing. But it is this taking of this one thing and going, if you do this tactic and only this tactic, this is enough to create a 7-figure business. And that is the message that I see over and over again. And, you know, we've had a kind of surge in inquiries from clients this year, thinking that's what they need and that's all they need, because as small business owners, they've been targeted with this messaging over and over again. And, you know, then we sort of, you know, start to dig a bit deeper, and it's like, well, actually that would work for you for the nature of your business. Yes. But then within the whole kind of context of the ecosystem of your business, there's so much other stuff like social proof and brand coherence that we need to look at in order to make that powerful. And it, you know, part of speaking to Simon about coming on to talk about this is it feels like we've sort of been having the same conversations over and over again for like the last year. And I just, it's the miseducation, I think, that gets to me so much, which is it being sold as like, this is the solution to all of your problems if you just do this. And if you pour money in as well. Like, you know, I've been on a couple of these like webinars of like how to build a ClickFunnels out of like, just as I'm sure you have, out of just like curiosity. And it's these people like, yes, I've built this, you know, I made, you know, £500,000 in my first year, and I only spent £300,000 on Facebook ads. And you're like, so you made £200,000.
Yeah.
Where did you get and it is this whole like, they say like, oh, you invest a bit and then every bit of money you make, you then put it back into into Facebook ads,
which is where multi-level marketing comes in.
Which is really quite problematic in itself when you dig a little bit deeper into these platforms.
Well, I think also the other thing that crops up a lot in these is the fact that a lot of the times they're linked to selling the product or service that the person trying to sell you this whole ClickFunnels scheme is selling. So it'll be like, you can sell, I had a very drunken conversation with someone once about a water filter that cured cancer. And he was in a multi-level marketing thing with a ClickFunnel to sell those to his immediate family network. And he said, oh, you're in marketing, you might be able to help with this. And I was like, yeah, I can help you get out of it. But I was like, unbelievable. And it was this kind of total sham product being peddled by these two guys in America who were draining this guy's bank account of money to set up these ClickFunnels. And he's like, yeah, they've set it up. It's almost ready. I've just got to put in another $1,000 and then this ClickFunnel is going to be ready. And I was just looking at him as if to go, this is insane. Like, stop giving them money. They're robbing you. But it was, you know, once you've been bought in and you've been sort of brainwashed, it really does feel like it's got this kind of multi-level marketing in disguise.
And I think that's actually a really good point, is for that first free course, free webinar, free whatever, the whole design of that is using NLP and other linguistic tactics to brainwash you and manipulate you into buying into this whole kind of massive dream of, you know, of this total transformational like model of how to like, and it's the reason it bothers me so much is because of that human element of there's identifying a need or an insecurity. You know, it works so well, for example, with single, like not even just single, but like with mothers who are time poor and want to have some kind of a kind of impact still. And so all of this multi-level marketing, the praise on that, it's like you can work just 3 hours while your child is sleeping and earn £500,000. And it's like, you know, really, really, really manipulative.
It all seems to be quite kind of predatory as well.
Yeah.
And kind of almost negging to a certain extent, where it's like, oh, you run a business, you're fairly successful, but do you want to be more successful? Because you're not very successful at the minute, are you? And it's like, okay, great.
Really.
It all seems to kind of link back as well to a lot of the similar issues that I saw with dropshipping, where it is that whole, all you need to do is just get a product and sell loads of it. And it's like, okay, what about brand? What about the infrastructure? What about customer service? What about my audience and who I'm selling it to? It never addresses that kind of broader thing. And this is what you were saying earlier, Alice, of like just actually having a business. It's not just that you can give Facebook $1,000 and then suddenly you get $5,000 back. You know, that might work if you've got a really well set up business that is selling stuff online, but just using ClickFunnels to generate more income in its own kind of silo or as its own process just seems at best kind of impossible and at worst extremely misleading. You know, it's just insane. I don't know how to stop it really.
And but like you say, like thinking back like years ago, like I'd forgotten about the whole like drop shipping thing. You know, now it's the ClickFunnels. Like this is just like the tactic at the moment. You know, I remember, you know, back when I sort of first started working in marketing, like, you know, 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago. It's probably longer. I feel like I've been saying it was 10 years ago for about 3 years now. But like, I remember there being a whole narrative back then around like, or, you know, oh, you can reach so many people on social media. You don't even need a website now. Yeah. Back when organic reach was a thing, which it's not now. You know, and I think it is like, it will run its course as particularly as the market gets crowded, because, you know, like what's going to happen? Every single business out there creates a ClickFunnel and an online resource and an online training program. And then the market gets saturated and then people switch off to it. And then as a tactic, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah. And that's what happens when you build your business on one tactic. Eventually, everyone, you know, the general public catches on and they realize that that's a tactic and that everyone's using it. And so then you have to go and find another tactic.
That's actually another thing that we've seen a lot this year is businesses coming to us because they've built their business just on one tactic that's no longer working, or they can see, and that's when you were speaking, Adam, I was thinking that it's about sustainable growth. Exactly. Like business, there's so many elements to growing a business that are not considered within this story. And it's not sustainable to focus on just this, like, even if you do have a spike in your first year, then what? Like, and what about your actual product? How are you nurturing people? You know, I really like the idea of the flywheel rather than the funnel. It's like bringing people in, making them your advocates, and then perpetuating your growth based on providing a really fantastic experience of working with your brand. Like, not just having someone come in, do a shit course that they never got anything out of, and then, oh, don't worry, you've got their money, fine. Like, that's not sustainable.
Yeah. I think also when you look into a lot of these actual so-called businesses that are doing very well with their ClickFunnels, when you actually look into it, they're just not real. They don't exist. They're just it's like, I remember listening to a podcast years ago, and it was called "There's lots of money in telling people there's lots of money in drop shipping." And that's all it was. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was on Reply All. I'll dig it out and put it on this, because it was a fantastic podcast, and it was just about basically this guy who had been in the game. He'd been in the in the drop shipping game, and he would like go to car shows to pose with Ferraris.
Genius.
To then use
Genius.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you can't because you can't go to a showroom and do it, but you could go to these car shows. And he basically worked out all these, and that's what he was teaching, was these ways of, he was teaching people how to tell people there's lots of money in drop shipping. So it was the ultimate con. He was teaching the con, which was good. And there was also another great video, which I'll put in the show notes as well, which Adam forwarded to me the other day, about the Contrapreneur.
Yeah.
Oh, we watched that recently.
It's great,
and he was
isn't
like,
it?
if you want friends who are celebrities, you can go to Madame Tussauds.
Yeah, it's so good. The video production is fantastic. The little animations are amazing.
Yeah, we watched. We got sent that video as well, because there someone else I saw. A mutual friend of ours, Adam, I think you were commenting on the same thing. Toby Moore on LinkedIn put that, was talking about the whole Contrapreneur thing, and that's the same like model as ClickFunnels. That's like getting people to come to a seminar, selling them this dream,
telling them their shit,
and then going, give me £10,000 and you won't be shit anymore, because I've done it and I know it works. And just that whole thing about like paying people to come on stage to like give testimonials.
People were paying to come on stage. It was
of course. Yeah, it was even worse.
And they were the same people every show, and they paid like a package that they could come up and
say how successful they were.
But it comes back down to like what you were saying about like, it's playing on people's insecurities to get them to part with their money, and telling them like you have all the answers when you don't. It's harsh. It's really harsh. So if we think, sorry, Adam, carry on.
I was going to say, I think this is the kind of highlights the fact that this isn't a new thing necessarily. ClickFunnels are the kind of the latest version of this kind of tactics, and even PPI might fall into the kind of another historical one, where it's that whole being called up and saying, look, here's some fear, and then do you want to buy the safety? And I think this isn't going to be a new thing to internet marketing either. It's probably been going on for centuries, but it is just that ClickFunnels do seem to be the latest, what's the word, kind of phase of this that we're seeing. And no doubt it will kind of disappear in the next 18 months, hopefully.
And then there'll be something new
that
we can talk about.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like crypto again or something like that.
I think the next one personally is going to be Instagram shopping. It's going to be how to sell with Instagram shopping, because it's taking the best of drop shipping and the best of ClickFunnels. But you can hear it now, can't you? It's like, this is so good, you don't even need a ClickFunnel. People buy straight from your Instagram. Exactly. TikTok shops.
They've announced it with Shopify, which will do another thing. But
so you mean to be honest, collectively, I think we've just invented the next one. So sorry, everybody, about that.
There we go. Let's pack the businesses in and just go do that and make millions teaching people how to Instagram
next week,
shop.
we're going to be running a course for £97 where I will tell you how to sell on TikTok without needing a marketing funnel. That's it.
This time next year, we'll all be millionaires, and then we'll tell you how you can be too.
Exactly. So there we go. So if people want to get rich quick and they don't want to use a marketing funnel, so if someone actually wants to set up a real business, helping real people do amazing things, what would you suggest that they do? Maybe they have purchased a £97 ClickFunnel course and they've thought this isn't for me, and now they're like, what do I do next? What would you say would be one of the most impactful things a small business owner could do?
Definitely create a brand up and above everything else. Like, understand what you stand for and what your unique stake in the ground is as a business that people can really relate to, and get involved in on an emotional level that's not manipulative, that's not telling them that they're rubbish, but that's actually creating community and conversations through your business. The most obvious one as well is have a good product or service.
That's a really good idea.
Create something that people actually want to buy, and ask them what they want to buy. Don't just assume that people want something without doing the market research. Also, I don't think there is a quick get rich quick.
No, I was being flippant with the get rich quick, but I mean, like, let's say someone is, I think the brand is a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think you're right. If you just go to Squarespace and make a website like the TV advert tells you to, then
that's all you need.
Yeah, then that's great. So I've got a website. Now what? It's that thing, isn't it? It's like, yes, you can build a website. Yes, you could have some Facebook ads. Yes, you could have a lead gen and a download the email, blah blah blah. You could have a ClickFunnel, but then what? It's like, how do you actually get people to buy? And I think you've hit you've really kind of captured that essence there, in that actually, if you start with a brand and you've got something you stand for, and you've got a reason to exist, and you've got a reason, something passionate that people can buy into, I think is really, really important.
And then I think, in addition to that, I would say build genuine relationships with the people that you want to sell your product or service to. Like put the time in to talk to them, to get to know them, to understand what they want, and to show them that you care about them. That's been like a fundamental thing in terms of how we talk to our potential customers and how we build our relationships. We want everyone that comes into contact with us to really feel like we get them and we care about them, and we care about their business being a success, and we care about them being happy.
Even if that's like a value exchange. It's not like I'm only going to talk to you because I want to eventually get you to buy something. It's like really trying to add value in every interaction that you have, regardless of on what kind of platform or medium that is.
I think that's really simple advice. It's just kind of think about the customer and make sure you're being useful to them.
I know it's like wild, but for some reason it seems to be very groundbreaking.
But people lose sight of it because they think, if I can just invest this money and reach these like thousands of people all at once, then like at least some of them are gonna buy into what I'm doing. Whereas when you kind of take it as like you're gonna start with building relationships, then stuff kind of grows from the ground up instead of the top down, if that makes sense.
I think this is something me and Simon have always discussed, is that like kind of great marketing will never save a shit business, because you're just going to be, if your business isn't any good, it's just going to be destroying itself quicker than you can put stuff into the top of it. So you're just fighting a losing battle. So flip it around, as you say, and do it kind of from the bottom up, where you put your customers first, and then eventually everything else will follow. And the marketing is there as a tool to help accelerate the growth, rather than being the only thing that's fueling it. Which I think, again, with the ClickFunnels is the issue, is that you are relying on one particular strategy for your entire business model, which means you don't have a business, you've just got a scam.
And totally.
That's a sound bite.
There you go.
And that's another kind of really important piece of advice that I want to give, and just kind of, is how important it is to have a holistic marketing strategy that puts your brand and customers at the center. Because if you're building your business through over-reliance on one tactic, when that tactic doesn't work anymore, you then potentially don't have a business. And not just with sort of ClickFunnels, but I've seen it happen where, rather than investing in like a website or an owned email list, businesses have invested in like Facebook groups, and then like had, for some reason, like Facebook's removed their group for some reason, and they can't get it back, and then they've lost all of their contacts and have to start again. So I think putting that infrastructure in place where you have owned, you have owned digital assets, like you have your marketing list, you have your website that you own, that you have total control over, is so important. Because if you're relying on these external things, like building everything in clickfunnels.com, well, what would happen if clickfunnels.com went under next week?
Yeah.
What would happen if the website just disappeared or got took down? Like what do you then have? Or if you're asking yourself, almost doing like a risk assessment on your marketing activity and going, if this disappeared tomorrow, would I be okay? And if the answer's no, then making sure that you're putting the measures in place that's not the case.
I think that's a really good question to ask, because there's a lot of stuff that I've kind of looked into before as well, like dropshipping or affiliate marketing as well is another one where it doesn't really stand up to that, because as soon as the Google algorithm changes, unless you've built a brand, then you're screwed, because suddenly all of your SEO traffic disappears. And if you've got an emailing list and you've built that brand and you've put your time and effort in building that beyond just the affiliate marketing kind of model, then you're fine, because you've suddenly got more of a business. So I think it's a really good kind of test to apply to your business of just, if we took this away, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
good.
I think that's a really, really good advice. I think the only time I've seen that work incredibly well is with Jack's Flight Club. Don't know if you know about that. So it's an email list that you can join where once a week Jack sends you bargain flights. Obviously at the moment, that is the one thing that's obviously, sort of done their business in. But back in the day, I mean, it was, I think last year, worth about $750,000, and it's literally a MailChimp list.
Yeah.
Because you pay, basically you get a weekly, bi-weekly email for free. And if you want the weekly email, which means you get on the deals, then you pay like $30 a month or something. Wow. Anyway, genius. And
it's been going for a really long time. I think I think I first heard about it about at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's actually been...
That's always the example I pull up for someone who owns the business. You go to his website and it's just, do you want to be on my mailing list? Here's the form. That's it.
Yeah, and but that is also a brand. He's got a brand because people trust him. He would have built up. And I heard about it from a friend who heard about it from a friend who heard about it from a friend. And that's the other thing of like, actually, the brand doesn't have to be all singing, all dancing. No. You just have to know what you're up to and do it well.
Yeah.
And consistently.
Yeah.
I think someone. Sorry, I just say like Jack's Flight Club, and people know what it is, and it stands on its own kind of pedestal.
It's a great name as well. It's like a really.
Yeah, it is clever. I think it's a bit like Holiday Pirates used to be before they got their website. Sorry to hate on Holiday Pirates, but it used to be just like Jack's Flight Club. It was like, if you go to this website and click this, and you click that, and you click this, you can have a holiday for £400. And it was amazing. And then they got greedy with the affiliate deals, and now it's essentially just Expedia with a parrot. It's like, I mean, the deals are still there, but they're nowhere near as good as they used to be. Like when it was an emailing list, you used to be able to get some amazing. I went to Croatia for like €100 for two of us for 2 weeks. It was insane. Whoa. Yeah, because they were just like, we found this little deal that no one else has found, and if you can fly on this day and come back on this day, you know what I mean? And maybe 100 people get it, but it worked. But then of course, once it's almost like they're a victim of their own success, because then you've got too many people clicking it and no one's getting the deal, and
that's a sustainable growth thing as well. It's like, what if say this ClickFunnel worked and suddenly you got millions of people who want to buy your product? Can you actually deliver on that?
I've also just thought of another like example of this, which was the whole like the Groupon bubble, the Groupon voucher, where people spent their whole businesses by advertising on deal sites. And then that bubble burst. Like you say, it happens time and again.
And I think that is why marketing has a bad rep, because it is, in some ways, it has that kind of very sort of flash in the pan tactic, kind of obsessed approach, which is not the kind of marketing any of us do. But it is the kind of marketing that gets like the kind of bejazzle and then leaves people feeling really disenfranchised and like they've been conned, because they kind of have. I mean, in every industry there will always be people who use what they've got
to con people or, do people out of money. And that's just the sad truth of it. But I think what we've spoken about here is, there is a way that it works when, like, all of the things we've mentioned that are in the ClickFunnel, you can do for your business without paying for a mad course to do it.
Yeah.
And it will work. Like, we use lead gen. We have a thing on our website where you can download a free guide. You download the free guide, and then you come to a course that I run, and then I talk to you, and then you do my course. And it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a real person, and the course exists.
And it's probably really good quality.
But the thing is, it's like,
and that's not the entirety of your business.
No, exactly. But it's like, but I'm not there saying I can make you, £1 million. I'm not preying on people's insecurities. I'm not doing all of the things that people are doing. And I think it's like, it's the same, with Google Ads. You can use Google Ads to rob people of money really easily, like insanely easily. All you have to do is look up lost luggage and then insert your airport. And that is a Google Ads scam that is worth millions. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast. Yeah. Essentially, you bid on lost luggage Heathrow as a term. And if you've lost your luggage in Heathrow, you go there and it says to claim your luggage, you need to pay 50 quid. And we'll claim your bag. You put your card details in, bam, you get 50 quid and you're done. Yeah. It's a huge scam. There's massive scams. And that's just around ads. And then you look at SEO and there's so much like lost luggage New York is a good one. NYC taxi, lost baggage, all this. It's a huge, and there's another great podcast on that where they try and track down the guy who runs them all. And he lives in New York. He's not hard to find. Anyway, so much great scam-based podcasting.
The next crypto queen.
Yes. That's another podcast, isn't it? So, I think in terms of the sort of takeaway advice, it's create a brand, make sure that you've got something to stand for that people can actually get involved in, and build a website that tells them all about it and give them an opportunity to get involved. And that might be to join you on a webinar, to have a video, to email you, to buy to buy the product. There's lots of different things, but I think making the sale at the right point with the right purpose behind it.
And making relationship building your key focus.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't actually lead to the sale, but it's just about building that reputation.
And don't over rely on one tactic.
Yes. Yeah, that would be very good. I mean, I can see how people are getting drawn into the big ads companies because they are spending millions on telling you that it works. So don't feel bad is the other thing, I think. Like, let's say you've just spent £1,000 on Facebook ads and it's not worked. Don't worry, you're not alone.
It's designed that way.
Yeah, like the reason Facebook have all the money is because they've spent a lot of money on a website telling you it's going to work. And, if you do it right, it does work. They're not lying. They're just maybe being slightly economical with the truth of how easy it is. But the point being that they make it very easy for you to give them money. They make it quite difficult for you to get results. So I think, not beating yourself up about it, like even if you have done the ClickFunnel thing, maybe you've spent a couple of $1,000s on a ClickFunnel, maybe you're looking at your ClickFunnel right now thinking, what have I created? Am I a monster?
You're not a monster.
You're not. Don't worry. We've all done it, Alice has a handstand course, proof that this
and we'll come back
works.
together in a year's time and see if Alice ever actually learns how to do
I think that is the key.
That is
the key metric to measure over the next year.
Yes,
handstands per month.
She now emails me every day to remind me that I have not completed the course yet.
Brilliant.
That is a brutal follow-up. I love it. I mean, there you go.
Do you want to be the best handstander in the world?
Yes. And what has she offered you? Has she offered you something else to buy?
I don't know. I don't read the emails.
Oh.
I just see her name come up and I'm like, there she is, nagging me that I haven't done a handstand yet.
If you've not tried, then you might need some handstand mindset techniques.
Yes.
Buy my next course.
One-to-one handstand.
Something like that.
This is where it's going to be, definitely. It's all about the follow-up. Good stuff. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been very good to moan and rant about the awful ClickFunnels that are out there, but also have some great tips on how you can make your own wonderful marketing business or business work with good marketing, I think. Yes. So yes, thank you again to Alice and Sophie. We will be back with another episode soon. In meantime, please give us a subscribe on YouTube just below. That really helps us out. And also it means you won't miss the next great episode. If you're listening on your podcast podcast outlet of choice, do give us a review or just another subscribe. And do feel free to tell your friends about it if you think they would find it useful. As always, I will put all of our LinkedIn profiles in the show notes, as well as all of the other fun stuff we've mentioned. So do check the show notes out for links and other goodies. So until next time, thanks for joining us. See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.